record, and I don't want to forget that to do that as well. So in a seller's market, when properties are going off the market in less than a week with multiple offers, and we've seen that type of market depending on what part of the country you're in, and also depending on price range, we've seen that market for the last 60 days. Why, in your opinion, would we be facing appraisals that are coming in below the contract price? Because I'm hearing from you, and I'm also seeing from the agents in my office that we're seeing more of that. So why, in your opinion, why is that happening? That's to everybody in this group.
I think we're worried we're going to have a bust again.
Okay.
I think people are starting to look at that.
Okay. Okay.
May I introduce myself? I have an idea about that. I was talking to a FISBO last night. Lourdes, by the way, Danville, California. If you have any referrals for me, I'd love to take it.
Love it. Love it.
Get everybody in this group, to get to know everybody in this group, because I have been sending referrals elsewhere as well. I've lived in many parts of the country, so I know quite a bit of people, and people move around. If they need to move around, they will, and sell their homes. So I was talking to a FISBO last night, and he had been a realtor and left the field in 2007 because of the bust. And he had then went into become an MLO, mortgage lending, and then went to become an underwriter. And so as we were talking, he said that, you know, despite the fact that, you know, they are tightening, you know, the, you know, screening of people that are getting mortgages, he hasn't seen it to a point where there are still high risk people out there that are taking mortgages on that are probably not necessarily going to sustain it. And so he's actually afraid that we're going to have a second bust. So perhaps that's why, you know, one of the reasons the appraisal industry is tightening up, because there is word out that it hasn't really come back to a point where it has been that strong that, you know, people are getting through or falling in the cracks and getting those mortgages, you know, balloon mortgages here in California, especially, that don't deserve it.
Yeah. Lourdes, nice to meet you. Thank you for being on the call. Please put your contact information in the chat so anybody that's a part of this call can reach out to you. And I agree. I think that those are definitely, everything you just mentioned is very, it's very possible that that's one of the reasons we're seeing appraisals come in low.
Also, I find in a shifting market, sometimes when you do have sometimes buyer markets and shifting and seller markets in two different areas, sometimes the high prices, as they increase, they don't catch up as much to what has recently closed, and they can't get as much for their property as they think in the appraisal area because it doesn't catch up as much.
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing to consider here, guys, and Victoria, great. I agree 100%. If you're the bank and you're taking on these loans, you've got to ask yourself, if I was the bank, do I want this loan? If I was the bank, do I want more loans? If I am the bank, do I want to turn the faucet down so that I'm taking fewer loans and taking on less risk in a market that looks like it's going to shift and values are going to come down? If I'm loaning, if I am doing a loan on a $700,000 property with 10% down, for example, then 630, right? I'm doing a loan at $630,000, right? And what if the value of that property drops in the next 2 or 3 years and the seller is not able to maintain their mortgage payments and I have to end up foreclosing on this property? Is it a good investment? And these are the conversations that the banks are having with themselves. And I believe that you're going to continue to see these appraisals come in low because we're tightening the belt on making sure that it's a safe bet. When the market's going up, then there's less risk. When there's a chance that the market's going to come down, there's more risk. And when there's more risk, the banks aren't too excited about making loans. right? Now, how does this apply? So if I'm working with a seller, you need to have these conversations with them at the listing table. In other words, at the time you take the listing, have a conversation around, here's what we're going to do if the property doesn't appraise. If the property doesn't appraise, we have three choices. Those three choices are the buyer can either put down more money in order to be able to purchase the property above appraised value, or you as a seller can come down on your sale price and sell for the appraised value, or we can cancel the contract. Now follow that up with a harm's way question and say, and whichever one you choose, I'm totally okay with, because I'm not attached to the outcome, I'm attached to your goals. However, if we cancel the contract and the market is shifting and you found out 12 months from now that the appraised value was actually the highest price you were going to get, and now it's worth less, how would you feel about that? If you ended up being in your home and not being able to sell when you could have sold it 12 months ago, how would you feel about that? If the values continue to drop and you're still here 5 years from now versus being in Atlanta with your family, how do you feel about that? Now, I'm intentionally asking feel questions because logic makes us think, emotion makes us act. And I want them to connect to the emotion of the decision that they're making. All right, so let's jump into today's content so we can pick up where we left off yesterday. Skill set, mindset. Yes, talk to me.
Before you, I just want to say thank you for the people who actually submitted their emails and got registered for September 3rd with Aaron Kaufman. I just wanted to bring that up to make another announcement before we get started.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially since we have limited seats available, and I think that we're approaching that number, right? Yeah.
And we did such a great job the last couple of days, and it's Friday.
There we go. Still time to register. Okay.
Yeah.
So 90% of success is mindset. 10% is skill set. So what does that mean? Does that mean that if I work on my mindset and I master my mindset and I ignore the skill set, that I'm going to hit 90% of my goal? No, it doesn't, because if I've mastered my mindset and I ignore skill set, I'm going to fail. And then at the same time, if I master skill set and I ignore mindset, I'm going to fail. It takes both, and 90% of success is mindset. Now, with that in mind, let's just jump right into where we left off yesterday. The skill set that we've listed the last 5 days starts with scripts and dialogues. Master your scripts. The most important thing you could do as a real estate agent is master the conversations of real estate. And I like that a lot better than scripts, because these are conversations. They're not scripts. Master the conversations of real estate. Number 2, lead generation. Master lead generation. In order to master lead generation, you have to define lead generation. As a team leader, I talk to real estate agents all the time who say, well, my one thing is lead generation. Cool. What does that mean? Because to tell me that your one thing is lead generation isn't enough information. I need to know what that means. So here's what I'm looking for. Lead generation to me is 20 conversations. 20 conversations that have the possibility of leading to an appointment, a referral, or adding somebody to my database. Now, it's not 19, it's not 18, it's 20. And it's also scheduling one face-to-face appointment with someone who's thinking of selling their home. And it's writing 5 handwritten personal notes and following up forever. Now, when I do that every day, then I've succeeded at lead generation. When I've hit those standards, and they're standards, they're not goals. When I've hit those standards every day over time, I've mastered lead generation. The third thing that I'm going to focus on in order to master skill set is closing for the appointment. Looking for opportunity and closing for the appointment. Now, opportunity usually shows up as frustration. As soon as I hear frustration, you know, Lourdes, it sounds like you might be thinking that it's time to hire a professional like me. if I could show you how I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that? Now, when she says yes, I've got a listing appointment. Simple, right? And best practices for follow-up, creating CMAs. Sorry, guys, I'm reading. Creating CMAs, mastering pricing strategies. Holy cow, that's so important. Mastering pricing strategies. If I am meeting with you to discuss the sale of your home, my job is not to tell you what the value of your home is. You can get an appraisal and figure that out. My job is to help you create the right strategy in order to get your goals accomplished. In other words, in our needs analysis, if I discover that your goal is to move to Atlanta and you need to move there within the next 60 days because you're starting a new job, then my strategy when it comes to pricing is, where do we need to be? Where do we need to be on the market in order to get your home under contract and get it closed in the next 60 days so that you can move to Atlanta? Because there's a big difference between 595,000 and 605,000. Huge difference, even though it's only a $10,000 difference. Delivering consultative listing presentations to sellers and buyers, and overcoming objections. So overcoming objections is where I want to pick up today, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to go through these. Let's hope I get the right document. We'll find out. Yep, we did. And I'm just going to go through these as you see them, and please feel free to raise your hand, Victoria, if you could help me out and just say so-and-so has their hand up, because I'm pretty focused here and moving kind of quick because I don't want to run out of time. For sale by owners, I don't want to list my home. Now, one of the things that I learned from Tom Hopkins in his book, How to Master the Art of Listing and Selling Real Estate, is have 3 responses for every objection you're ever going to hear. And then PDR, which stands for practice, drill, rehearse those responses, so that when you hear an objection, you're truly listening to what the other person is saying. You're not inside your head thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? You've already got the answer. So I don't want to list my home. Awesome. I don't want to list your home either. I want to help you sell your home. Simple enough, right? Okay. I sold my last home by owner. Awesome. What was the market like when you sold your home, your last home by owner, Angel? Was it the same market that we're in today? The last home that you sold, the home you're selling today is $750,000. What was the price of the last home that you sold?
$450,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And today we're in a market where at $750,000 in your market, there's more than a 5-month supply of inventory. That means there's 35 properties for sale between $700,000 and $750,000, and there's 7 selling every 30 days. In other words, you have to be one of the 7 in order to sell your home. Now, when you sold that $450,000 home, what was the market like then?
Well, I had an offer in 2 days.
Yeah, and they're most likely not going to know the answer to this question. So then the next question is it possible that it was a seller's market? Is it possible that there were fewer homes that you were competing with and there were more homes selling? Now, if that's true, would it be easier to sell your home by owner when there's less than 30-day supply of inventory than when there's 7 months of inventory? The answer to that has to be yes. And then the follow-up question is, if that's true, then is it also possible that it may not be as easy to sell this home by owner as it was the last one? And if you knew you were going to sell your home for more money by hiring a professional like me, would you still sell your home by owner? If you knew it was going to take you longer to sell your home by owner versus working with a professional like me, would you still sell by owner? Now, just out of curiosity, if I could show you that I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that? All right, I'm not paying 6%. Cool. Fair enough. So why don't we get together and I'll share with you what I can do to get your home sold. At the end of our visit, you share with me what you think I'm worth. And if I'm able to work for that, we've got a deal. Does Tuesday at 4 work, or would Wednesday at 5 be better for you? All right, expired listings. I'm going to take a break. Call me back in 6 months. So, you know, Victoria, I'd be glad to call you back in 6 months. And just before I let you go, just out of curiosity, if I had an offer on your home for full price between now and 6 months from now, would you want me to bring you the offer?
Absolutely.
Sure. And Victoria, can I do that if I don't see your home?
Probably not.
Yeah. So all I'm looking for is an opportunity to pop by so I could take a look at your home and potentially bring you an offer.
That makes sense.
Okay, so another response. So Victoria, you were asking $700,000 for your home. Just out of curiosity, if you had an offer for $700,000 between now and 6 months from now, what would you do?
I would actually downsize.
Okay. Would you take the offer?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if your home's not on the market, can you get that offer?
No.
No. See, my greatest fear for you is not that you're going to get less money for your home than you want. My greatest fear for you is you're still going to be here a year from now and it's going to be worth less. Now, if you knew your home was going to be worth less money, would you still wait 6 months?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to relist with my previous agent. So you don't owe your previous agent anything. You certainly don't owe me anything, but you do owe yourself the opportunity to hire the best agent for the job. Wouldn't you agree? And is selling your home one of the most important business transactions that you're going to participate in the next 12 months? The answer to that has to be yes. And is it important enough to get a second opinion before you commit to somebody for another 6 months who didn't sell your home? Just out of curiosity, what are they going to do different this time that they didn't do in the previous 6 months? You know, I've heard before that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing, expecting a different result. Okay, so I've decided not to sell. Cool. If I had a full price offer on your home today, would you want me to bring you the offer? That one's simple. Where were you the past 6 months? So that's a great question. You know, when a home doesn't sell that should have, like yours, it typically comes down to one of 3 reasons: price, presentation, or marketing. Just out of curiosity, which one of those 3 do you believe is the reason your home didn't sell? You know, by popping by, I'll be able to share with you why I think it didn't sell. And just out of curiosity, is it possible that I didn't show your home because I didn't know it was for sale? Now, if I can explain what I mean by that is, if you were to hire me, I wouldn't just put your home on the MLS. I would also email a copy of your listing to the top 100 agents in the area. And I would call the top 100 agents in the area to let them know that your home is for sale. And quite honestly, your previous agent never called me. And that's why I didn't show your home. All right, listing appointments. Your fee is too high. If I were willing to lower my fee, would you hire me today? If I were willing to work for 5%, would you hire me today? Yes, cool. Can I share with you why that concerns me? You see, if I was a limited discount agent, and I was willing to give up my money that I use to support my family that quickly, how quickly would I give up your money when we have an offer on your home? I mean, Alex, we're looking at a list price here of $500,000. And I know that when you hire a realtor to sell your home, you're going to share with them what your bottom line is. In other words, Louise, you're going to tell that real estate agent, I'm not taking less than $480,000. Now, fast forward 60 days, and that discount agent who gave away their money gets an offer on your home for $460,000. And their response is, that's awesome because I know she'll take $480,000. And the right agent who's a tough negotiator could have got $495,000. You just lost $15,000 trying to make an extra $5,000. How do you feel about that? Do you want to hire a discount agent? Or do you want to hire a great negotiator like me? You see, when somebody asks me, or when somebody says that my fee is too high, I'm also hearing them ask how good of a negotiator I am. And the good news for you is I'm a really good negotiator. Now, if you're asking me if my fee is negotiable, the answer is 100% yes, when we have an offer. And it's not negotiable today. You see, if I have to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will, because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. And after all, if we can get, yeah, talk to me.
I'm sorry, I got a quick question for you. Going back to the negotiation part of your fee.
Yeah.
Would you think to put something like that in writing in the MLS, in the listing?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm fine with that because I'm really going to do it. So why not put it in writing?
It's a strong PowerPoint too. I'll write it right here. Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Other agents have offered to list my home for blank, right? So I understand that a lot of real estate agents work at it for a discount, and they should.
Tell me why. I love it.
I was hoping somebody would laugh. That was a strong comment. I am absolutely throwing the competition under the bus.
Thank you.
Yes. I am not signing a 6-month listing agreement. Cool. My agreement is 1 day. Can I explain? You see, my listing agreement is 100% satisfaction guaranteed, which means you can cancel at any time with no fee and no stipulation. So surely, even though it's 6 months, if you're not happy with me after 30 days, cancel the agreement. The only thing I ask is if I'm not meeting your goals, I'm not exceeding your expectations, give me an opportunity to fix what you're not happy about. And if I can't, you can cancel the agreement anytime with no fee and no stipulation. I'm going to hire the neighborhood expert. Cool. Now, can I share with you why I would hire me? You see, if you hire the neighborhood expert, they probably have other properties listed in the neighborhood. And when they get a call on your home, they win regardless of which one of those properties they sell. And you see, if you hire me, when you hire me, your home is the only home in the neighborhood that I have listed. And the only way I win is when I sell your home. Besides, if I were a seller, I would rather hire someone who's working hard to become the neighborhood expert versus someone who is already the neighborhood expert. I am looking for someone with more experience. Now, for those of you who are new, if somebody asks you, how long have you been a real estate agent? I want you to say a month, 30 days, less than 6 months. And can I tell you why? That's exactly why you should hire me.
John, we have a question.
Yep.
From Jessica Giuliani. So you don't put a CNX fee on the listing agreement?
Cancellation fee? No, I don't charge cancellation. I never charge cancellation fees. And 13 years of listing an average of 12 to 15 homes every single month, I never charged a cancellation fee. And maybe 1 out of 20 listings, maybe 1 out of 20 would cancel the listing before it sold. And guys, this is when we were in a market where the inventory was 7, 8 months, 9 months, or a year. In today's market, I'd expect to sell every single listing I take.
Good question, John.
Yep.
When you say, I didn't show your property because your agent never sold it to me. And so therefore you need to see it. And no, I'm sorry. If I bring you a full price offer right now, would you accept it? And then they said, well, do you have a full price offer? What's your comeback to that?
Okay, so Isabella, I'm gonna just tweak the script a little bit because there's a big difference between would you accept it and would you want me to bring you the offer? Because they may not know if they would accept it. By the way, I've got to say, Sean Cook, it's great seeing you on this call. Thank you for being here today. They may not know if they would accept it. And I'm not going to ask a question that I want a yes answer if there's a possibility I might get a no answer. So the question is, Isabel, if I had an offer on your home, if I had a full price offer on your home today, would you want me to bring you the offer?
Well, do you have a full price offer for me today?
So that's a great question, Isabel, and I won't know until I see your home. And that's exactly why we should get together. You see, all I need to do is pop by and take a quick look at your home. It'll only take maybe 15 minutes, and then I could potentially bring you an offer. So does today at 4 work, or would 5 be better for you?
Well, all of your realtors says the same thing.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, out of all those agents who said the same thing, how many of them have brought you an offer?
None.
Yeah, and what if I was the one that was going to? And what if you knew that? And what if 6 months from now, you're still in your home and you find out that I was gonna bring you a full price offer? You could have moved, but you didn't because you said no to me seeing your house.
Got it. Okay. I understand. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so all I did is just take her to harm's way, take her to Payne and Park. Okay?
Yeah, got it.
All
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Guys, it's 9:02. So any more questions, let's pop them out. And if you guys want to go back over objections again on Monday, we can. We could talk about objections for a month, really.
Yes, please.
Okay, Tamika.
Hey, John, are all these Zooms getting?
I concur.
YouTube?
Yeah, Sean, they are. And if you go to my YouTube page, there's probably 100 videos on it.
Good. I gotta go through some backlog.
Yeah.
Also like and subscribe.
Subscribe, please. Yes, I think, yeah. That's cool.
John, how long does it take for you to get on, for you to put the recording on?
It'll be there within the next hour.
Wow, thank you.
Yep.
Hello, John.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, can you repeat that again about if a seller or he asks you how long have you been in business, and then how would you reply if you're new? Because I kind of have that experience, and then I just wanted to hear if my answer was right.
Yeah, so Helen, actually, I've only been a real estate agent for 6 months, and that's exactly why you should hire me. Can I explain?
Sure.
Yeah, you see, if I were a seller and I was going to hire a real estate agent, I would rather hire someone who's brand new and working hard to become the local expert versus someone who's been doing this 20 years and is already successful, and they're selling lots of houses and they're going to make money whether they sell my home or not. I mean, I'm going to be more motivated to sell your home. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And after all, somebody has to give me a start, right? And it could be you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I kind of answer it differently, but it's kind of like this, kind of the same, because I haven't heard you before yet, you know, but.
It's all good.
I have a question.
Yep.
What if they say with 30 days of experience, do you even know what you're doing?
Yeah, so Ryan, that's a great question. You know, the good news is that I am surrounded by experts that have years and years of experience who absolutely know what they're doing. And if I don't know the answer that you ask, if I don't know the right thing to do, I will get the answer.
Yes, I kind of said that.
When you hire me, you're not just hiring me, you're hiring an entire team of real estate professionals that are all dedicated to getting your home sold.
Nice.
And I get the listing, so.
There you go. Then it worked.
I get the right answer.
Then do it again. All right, so guys, I'm going to leave you with an appraisal story. You guys are going to like this. So my last year in real estate, I'm listing a property. Last year in production, I'm still in real estate. I'm listing a property on the water in Newport Richey, Florida, and the list price is $550,000 because that's what the sellers wanted to sell their home. Now, the inventory on this home was 3 years. 3 years. All right. And
Wow.
Yeah. Wow is right. And Tamika, the only reason I took the listing is because it was absolutely a beautiful home. I mean, stunning. By far, nicest condition in the neighborhood, best view in the neighborhood, direct access to the Gulf of Mexico. Beautiful and not worth $550,000. And I knew it, but I still took the listing, and I told the sellers where the offer would probably come in, which was between 490 and 500. And even though there was a 3-year supply of inventory, 90 days later, we got an offer. Now, the offer was for $480,000. And I presented the offer. By the way, we're going to go over time today. It's all right. We already are. I presented the offer to the seller, and hey, Sean, great news. We have an offer on your home. This is exactly how you present offers, by the way, guys, every single time.
Great news.
Even if it's a low offer, I'm not going to call and say, Victoria, you know, we got an offer. You're not going to like it. It's really low. No. Hey, Sean, great news. We have an offer.
What is it?
Yeah, $480,000. Seller says, are you kidding me? I told you, John, I'm not selling my home for less than $550,000. My response to that is, awesome. I know. And you have 3 choices. And whatever you choose is fine with me, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter to me. All that matters is your goals. And if your home doesn't sell, I'm cool with that as long as you're cool with that. So we could either reject the offer, we can accept the offer, which I know you're not going to do, right? Or you could give them a counter offer. So the seller agreed to counter for $540,000, right? Call the buyer agent. Hey, Victoria, great news. I got a counter offer for you. How much? $540,000. John, the home's not worth $540,000. Okay. So talk to your buyer and let me know what they want to do. And Victoria, by the way, I'm not attached to the outcome. If this home doesn't sell, I'm cool. So it really doesn't make any difference to me. Just let me know what your buyer wants to do. Now, the buyer agent comes back to me. I'm going to make this long story short. Gives me a counter offer. We go back and forth a couple of times. We finally settle on $530,000.
Wow.
The property appraises at $490,000.
Oh, no way.
So I called the seller and I said, we've got an appraisal. How much? $490,000. After he loses his cool and yells at me, he finally says, I'm not selling my home for $490,000. I said, that's great. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm attached to your goals. I'm completely okay if you don't sell your home. Just letting you know what the offer is. These are your options. I go back to the buyer agent, have a very similar conversation with the buyer agent. Long story short, the buyer came up to $530,000 with extra money down and bought the house.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, I'm sitting at the table and we're signing the paperwork and he's looking at me. I still talk to this guy and he's looking at me and he said, John, I can't believe you sold my house. I actually didn't want to sell. I only agreed to put the house on the market because you agreed to take it at a price that I knew it wouldn't sell for, because my wife wanted to sell the house in order to move closer to Sarasota to be closer to our grandkids. And now I have to go find a house because you sold the house. I'm not happy. So this guy was actually not happy with me because I sold his house.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When would you jump in there to possibly put some of your commission in to help the sale?
Well, Alex, when we're maybe a couple $1,000s apart on a let's just take $500,000 and say I'm at 3%, so I'm making $15,000. If I'm $1,000 apart and I need to give up money in order to make this deal happen, I would. But when I'm negotiating money, my fee, because remember earlier I said I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. I don't think in terms of percentages. That's where you guys get it wrong. You think I'm going to lower my fee from 6% to 5%. No, 1% of $500,000 is $5,000 when you might only have to give up $500 to make the deal work. And you still gave up money to make the deal work.
Interesting.
Now, again, is that something that you would go ahead and volunteer, or would you wait for your client to ask you to cough up money?
It depends.
Okay.
It really just depends. Yeah. The answer is both. It just depends.
Okay.
Yeah. The one thing I'm not going to do, and we're really over time now, this is it, and I got to go because I've got to be on a huddle a minute ago. I'm not going to recommend to the other agent that they give up money. If the other agent wants to give up money, they can. But I'm not going to go to the other agent and say, hey, listen, I'm giving up blank. Will you give up blank? And that's kind of a long conversation because I know not everybody's going to agree with me on that. And I just think it's in my best interest to not be known as that agent who asks other real estate agents to give up their money. If I'm going to negotiate money in order to make the deal work, it's going to be my money, not the other agent's money.
Thanks, John.
Guys, have an amazing weekend. Time to get to work. It's 20 contacts, not 19, not 18. It's 20
Thank
contacts. Focused on getting an appointment, getting a referral, adding somebody to your database. Go on one appointment every day, face-to-face with one person every day who's going to sell their home. Doesn't matter if it's the next 30 days, 60 days, or a year from now, because you're selling homes a year from now. Put 250 people in your pipeline in the next 12 months and then follow up forever. Reject, rejection, no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. We are not judged by the number of times we fail, but by the number of times we succeed. And the number of times we succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times we can fail and keep trying. Make it a great day.
Peace out.
Thank you, John.